Hey everyone, Stefan here from Be a Python Dev. Wasn't quite sure what to make for a video this week, but I was running across a problem here, and it looks like someone's learning some object-oriented programming, and there's a couple errors in it. I was gonna clean up this code for this person, and then post what I thought it should be in the thing. Apparently I'm not getting my desktop audio. Let me figure out what's going on there. Anyways, let's pull up Visual Code and write this person's code in there and try to clean it up. It looks like it's written in some other language that I don't know, so I'm gonna Englishize it too, if that's a word. I don't know what rechnen means. I wish I did, because that might make more sense what she's trying to do with this large hot thing. I like that she's got some class variables in here, some instance variables, and then she's got functions that are operating on those in kind of interesting ways. It seems like a good demo code here anyways. But let's go into Visual Studio Code. Apparently this is a beginning tkinter thing that I was going to work on. Anyways, let's just get a new file just for the sake of this. We'll call it facebook.py, because why not? We'll drag this thing over to the side so that I can look at it easier. Or maybe we just do something like this. Also, if you're asking questions on Facebook, it really helps if you paste bin your code. I'm going to end up doing that after I copy this in, so you guys can see that process. But anyways, first thing I noticed, she has a capital A, and then she's referencing it as lowercase a in other parts of the code. You want to keep your code consistent. You don't want to name it with capital letters. That's not quite PEP 8 style anyways. We'll update that later. We'll define these constants, add in our constructor, add the instance variable setters. Alright, and then we have this getX method, which is nice. And you can see it's returning self.getX. One, self.getX is not an actual thing. It's just returning a reference to the function, which you could do if you call the function and it's a function of itself, so you get in some weird infinite loop of functioniness stuff. But I think what she wanted to do was just return self.x. That makes the most sense. We'll do a getY here, same thing. The return seemed like it's the wrong thing, so we'll do that as return self.y. Large hot. Alright, we got the next lo-fi song going on. Let's go back into here. And I think what I was saying is you want to be explicit with your variable names. Don't just drop random letters for random reasons. You don't need to do that. Fix my mix on the background music. Sorry if it was too loud before. I think that song might have just been louder. Alright, so we had our self-definitions in here. Keep this going. Again, don't capitalize your variables. This is alright. Self.y, self.x. This is the correct things. Printing, this seems kind of weird, and then you're casting it to a string. I'd rather just go ahead and use the F string, which is the fast formatted string. It's usually faster than casting it in concatenation. I'm not sure why, it's some magical Python stuff. And then we will return HL here as well. Another reason I don't like this print is because if you're running this code server side, this print statement is going to get completely lost. What you would want to do instead is you would want to use a logger. So let's actually do that real quick, just for the sake of good software practices. What we'll do here, we'll give someone the option to pass in a logger, and if there is no logger, so if logger is none, self.logger equals logging.get logger, and then I think you can just do something like name, or I don't think you have to pass in a name anyways. It's optional. Returns the root logger. Yeah, I think that's okay. I think you do something like class name, class whatever. Let's type x.name, import or x.class.name. Instance.class.name. Alright, let's try this. This might not be right, but it seems a little better than just using the root logger. So I think you can do this. And then else self.logger equals logger. And then instead of using these print lines, we will use the logger that we declared. This will be a debug line. Alright, and back to this person's last function, which seems Rechnen. Again, I don't know what Rechnen is. Please let me know in the comments if you know what this is. She's doing a couple things that aren't quite correct in this line. So first you want to do self.a plus equals, and then you don't want to do self.large.hot as a function name. What you could do if you wanted this, you know, you could do something like this and call this a property. Yeah, I think it's, well, since it's doing other things in it that aren't really property-like, you shouldn't use it as a property. But for the sake of just seeing different things you can do with classes, we will use it as a property. And then we'll do self.b. Again, since it's a class variable, we still need to use self to go ahead and call that, or to access it. And then same thing, self.b plus large.hot, and then we will return this as a inline tuple object, I guess. And no, I don't want this to be bin. And then we got some code down here just to kind of play with the class. So we'll run this, and I think it should work. So this should generate one debug statement from line 25. And then when we do a.rechnen, this should also generate two logging statements. But I think since you want to see A and B, we should also print this. It's okay to print down here because we are in like just the Python scope instead of actually being in the API scope of the class. So we're making the assumption that we're calling this from Python in the terminal, and then our print will always be the same. Go ahead and save this, run it, see if anything weird happens. I don't really want an interactive window. I've never used that before. Okay, it doesn't look like the stuff is installed anyways. We'll try that later. That seems kind of cool. Alright, we will run this in terminal. And apparently I did something silly. This should be capital N. And it doesn't like that this is, oh yeah. This should be return self.a, return self.b. And since these are class variables, we don't actually need to return them anyways, because you can just access them on the class. Well, instance variables. Int objects is not callable. Yeah, so we copied her code. But as you saw that we changed this to a property for the sake of teaching how to use properties, or for showing that that annotator exists. And to access properties, you would just do it like this instead of actually calling it. Which is, again, weird because we're doing a debug in here. We probably don't actually want to do this. It probably makes just as much sense to print this one. but we're gonna not do that just to show the logger for the class. Alright, so you can see our print line here from the Rechnen return, self.a equals 700 after adding this, self.b 650 after, actually this was supposed to be a minus equals, so would this be a negative number now? No, it's just 250. Anyways, what else we want to do here to actually get the logger to show up is we want to define the basic log level. Logging.config. Hold on, let me look this up real quick. We're gonna do log to standard out, and we want to do this in Python, obviously. That's what I thought it was. Set level logging.debug. I don't really want to add the stream handler. I don't really want to add the stream handler. I don't think I need that, but I think I can do equals logging.debug. I think by default it only logs the info lines, and we use this as a debug line. So if we do this, still no logging things. Maybe we do need to create the stream handler. We'll go ahead and copy this code. It's pretty standard. Generally, you don't want to do this. For a large scale application, you would probably configure your log at the application beginning, and you would do that at a static global level, and then you would use that log throughout your application. For our toy example, we're just going to do it in place on the class. This should... This should let us log to the terminal. And we needed to import sys because we're creating a stream handler based on the standard out. You might also need a stream handler for standard error if you want to log the errors in your application as well. But now you can see we have the first debug from when we called the large hot property here. And then we have this debug and this debug from calling this and this. And again, I don't think she wanted to use this as a property, so we'll get rid of this property tag and we'll change these to function calls. And then we'll go ahead and do this and then save it. And again, we have the same debug lines and the same output here. That'll be it for this. The next thing we want to do actually is take this. We'll select it all with Control A, copy it, we'll go to a paste bin, and we'll do a new paste here. I don't think I actually need to do this on my name. Apparently I'm logged in on my name anyways. We'll add syntax highlighting Python. What do we want to name this? We'll just name this Rechnen. Which again, I guess I could just Google it. What does Rechnen stand for? Calculate. Okay, that's the calculate function. We'll add a little comment here. Rechnen equals calculate. I don't know what language that is. German. So we'll add German here. We don't need all that. Alright, so don't need it in a folder, paste exposure, public, Rechnen, aka calculate. Again, don't know what hot means. I could probably look that up too. Alright, I think that's everything. Alright, I'm gonna edit this real quick, upload it, copy and paste it into that Facebook post, and then I think hopefully that helps the person that was working on this code. Thanks for letting me go over your code, and hope people learn from this as far as best practices for logging, kind of class creation, how to use properties. And when you create a class variable, up here in the top, you need to use self.a to reference a class variable, and then you can have your instances down here and reference them the same way. That'll be it. See you guys. Bye.